Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tutorials, and in this video we are going to finish filling out our schema so that we can add a subdocument and show you how you could have an array as a value inside of your schema and what AutoForm automatically does with that for you. So let's get it going right now. So we now have our routes going, we have our form working, and everything's going pretty nice. But like I mentioned before in the last video, the schema isn't exactly complete. So let's go ahead and take some time to finish out that schema, and we can have some nice little subdocument tricks going on here. So let's head to our collections recipes file. But before we do that, just like a commenter pointed out in the last video, we used Meteor.collection here. Well, that's actually the old way of doing this. You actually want to have Mongo.collection here. And if you'll notice, your site will refresh and everything will be the exact same way it was, and you won't lose the data that you already submitted. The only difference is that Meteor.collection was the old way of doing it. As a version like 0.91. I believe it changed to Mongo.collection. So Mongo.collection instead of Meteor.collection, not a huge change, just something to be aware of just so your code is up to date. Okay, so right above here, we're going to add a new schema, and this is going to be the ingredients schema. And we're going to be using this additional schema inside as a subdocument, and AutoForm is just going to sort of know how to handle that. So let's go ahead and say ingredient, and this is going to be equal to a new simple schema just like we had before. And let's go ahead and have the function and the object inside of the function here. Now let's go ahead and define some properties, one of which is going to be a name, and this is going to be a type of string. Okay. Now, you might be wondering, why are we doing this whole subdocument thing? Well, if you'll notice, the ingredient has its own properties, right? An ingredient has a name, but we already have a recipe name. And so instead of having a separate field that's like ingredient name, this is not only sort of namespacing this name to ingredient, but it's also keeping this and the other properties we apply to this, such as comma amount. This is the amount of the ingredient that you're going to be using. This is keeping this data together. So when we create a new ingredient with inside of our recipe, we're not having to deal with like separate arrays of different properties and stuff like that. It's going to all keep it together. Now, the reason I'm doing this as a string is because I don't want to have to deal with units. That way you can specify your own unit in this. Like we could say 10 pounds, or you could say 1 bushel or something. Who knows? But either way, we just have the name and amount here. And so this is our ingredient schema. And now we want to go ahead and actually use that in our recipe schema itself. So let's just head down here, and after description, I'm going to add another new field, and this is going to be ingredients. Okay, and now inside of this object, this is going to be really super cool. Don't forget to put your comma here. This is really super cool. We can say type colon, and then inside of square brackets, we can do the simple schema that we defined before, so capital I ingredient. Like so. So if we want to check out what's going on here, let's head over to our application, and we can head to our recipe book route. And you'll now see that we have name, description, and we have name and amount. Now what's great about this is that you may not have noticed something that we did here. If we were to simply just say type is ingredient without the brackets, let's come back to our app, you would see we have ingredients, name, and amount. So what this is doing is we have a name, description, and ingredients. It's keeping this as a subdocument, right? But it's only allowing us to have one, right? But by simply putting this ingredient in an array in our type, it's making this a field that automatically has incrementing boxes. So because we put that in an array, we can now plus or minus and add or delete as many of these values as we want. Now, the reason why this is so cool is because we didn't have to do really anything special to get it to work like this. AutoForm is just totally helping you out and really just making this easy on you. So now you can add as many or as few ingredients as you'd like. So for instance, if we had a new meal and that meal was named grilled cheese, you would want, it's a sandwich. Okay, you would want the name, you would want bread. We need 2 slices. And you need cheese. You just need lots of cheese, right? Because that's how you make a good grilled cheese. And then now if we click submit, let's check out by hitting Control M, let's check out our Mongol, and we can see how that data is actually stored. So now we have ingredients and we have an array with name and amount and name and amount. So when we want to get that data to display, it's going to be really easy because all we have to do is loop over this ingredients array and then output the name and amount. So of course you're going to see that in a little bit once we actually get going on our listing and stuff like that. But it's just something that's incredibly handy and incredibly fast to do in Meteor. Okay, so let's head back over to our code. And now I have one more property I'm going to be adding to the schema, and this is going to be whether or not this is in the menu. So this property is going to be in menu. Now this is going to be used if we are saying that this particular recipe is in this week's menu. Therefore, it's going to add all of the ingredients to our shopping list, and it's going to add it to the list of recipes that are on this week's menu. That way you can have this page that's your menu, and all it's going to be is the recipes that you're making this week. And of course, you'll be able to easily access the ingredients that you need when you go shopping. So we can say type, and the type is going to be a Boolean. And so we haven't really seen anything other than type of string and date, and now a subdocument type. But we now have a type of Boolean, which is just true or false here, and we want the default value to be false. In addition, we want this field to be optional. True, because when you're filling out the form, we don't want you to have a value here because it's just going to be defaulting to false. Now we can say AutoForm. Now an AutoForm, like we've seen, it's just an object, and we're going to use a type of hidden for this as well because we do not want the user to see this. And there we go. So now whenever we're adding a new item, it's going to be automatically not added to the menu itself. We can just say, so we can add a new meal. Let's just say fish tacos. Now the description doesn't really matter. I'll just put fish tacos here again. Of course, if this is something you wanted to keep better track of, the style of fish tacos or something. Now we need some sort of fish. We can just say it's going to be tuna, and the amount's going to be 1 pound is what we need. That's a ton of tuna for making fish tacos, but that's all right. And now we can need some, let's say mango, and we can just say 1 fruit. Okay, let's submit this. Check out the record by Control M once more. We can head, and we can now see that we do have in menu false. No sweat. If you'll notice, we just, by adding things to the schema, it's just so easy. We don't have to do database migrations. We don't have to worry about the system not accepting the value. By just totally defining the schema, it serves as sort of like the gatekeeper as to what data is going to work and how it's going to work in your application. Okay, so we now have ingredients. We now have if the item is in the menu. This is a really good start to our form. So in the next couple of videos, I'm going to be showing you some cool features. We're going to be dropping in some CSS to actually get this looking nice, and we're just going to continue work on our application just to flesh it out to be more of a real application, building out the navigation, making sure that when you're logged in, you're redirected to recipe book, things like that. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video or hit me up at Twitter or Facebook at Level Up Tutorials. I'd love to hear from you. If you liked the Meteor for Everyone series, you can now download a digital copy of it for $9.99. Get all of the course files and 22 HD MP4 videos with that. In addition, we also have some Level Up t-shirts so that you can help support Level Up Tutorials continue to release excellent free tutorials. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.